talking. Yep. Alright, cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome. So, today's going to be a fun day for me. I'm going to be going over some of the things that I have issues with Diablo 4 and what can be fixed with both Diablo 4 and Path of Exile. Because I do think they can be addressed and they can be fixed, but it's a matter of if the game developers actually want to fix their problems or they want to just sit on their butt cheeks and do nothing. So yeah, this is going to be a very intriguing day, going everything over Path of Exile and D4. Okay, so I will admit that I've died quite a few times playing the hardcore, and not for lack of better trying.
I need time to prepare that.
Oh my god, my gear sucks. The gear is quite exhilarating. Oh, okay. So, a couple things regarding Diablo 4. Number one, I very much enjoyed it, at least mechanically. The visuals are fine. The story was average at best, but it was okay. What sucks the absolutely shit out of this game is, well, Renown. Renown sucks. Plain and simple. It ties into the shittiness of the main campaign being punished for playing and completing it. Let's see where I'll go with this. So, this is on the top of my head, but basically, in D4's whole setting, the renown points are beyond a grind. It makes this game a living hell to play when you have to start over if you don't get to max renown per zone before you die at hardcore. And it makes this game drag out 4 times, if not 5 times, as longer than it should be. What I'd rather be doing is if I could replay the main campaign, I'd rather play that 5 times over as I go from start to finish and get myself all the way up to level 70. See, I beat the main campaign thinking, oh, I'll be able to do level 70 and I can go and do tier 4 and start at level 1 and moving that into doing the game. Make sure this is okay, let's go. And when I realized I couldn't actually go back into the main campaign, my initial thought was, what the fuck is wrong with this? Because in all the Diablo games, Diablo 3, all the previous ones, you could go back and play the main campaign over and over again. That's what makes Diablo Diablo. There's other aspects, obviously, but for me, the main aspect is being able to do the main campaign over and over again. And one of the exciting things was doing Torment 3 at level 1 with no Paragon points, starting from scratch and going all the way up. Man, those accomplishment that you felt, the adrenaline rush of finishing everything. It was awesome. It was exciting. It was exhilarating. Unfortunately for this, you do the main campaign. The first 50 levels are easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and you get into tier 3, and the game just starts turning to a massive grind, because it's like, oh, do you want to get the maximum out of your character before you go to tier 4? Well, sucks to be you. That's unlikely, because you need to get all your renowns. And it could have been handled so much better. So, oh, I forgot about the music on this. I forgot. Go on. Yeah, I can't have music running. Okay, so let's see what else that I had listed here. It's behind me. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Going through my notes here. So, yeah. The renown is a massive problem with this game, and if they could attach the renown aspect to getting your Paragon points as a separate thing, or via doing the main campaign at tier 4 from level 1, I would prefer that versus this version, because this is much more of a grind. I don't feel like I'm doing the massive accomplishment. I feel that I'm punished royally for finishing the main campaign, because I can't just jump directly into the next stage and replay. Because my original plan was to beat it at tier 2, go back, replay the main campaign at tier 3, go back, replay the main campaign at tier 4, because some of the best bosses are in the main campaign, and you can't get access to them because of the way everything's set up. It's just like, we know you like this stuff, but we decided that, you know, it's not worth it for you, man. We don't want you to enjoy yourself. So that is the unfortunate aspect. And alright, let's do that one. And I will say, the combat in this game is phenomenal. It's my favorite part of the game. It's the whole reason why I keep coming back here. I would Okay, so with the main campaign being out of the game, what else does the game have? Well, in comparison to Diablo, and I will give the game a lot to Diablo, because as much as Diablo 3 has problems, and it does fall because of the content for the game, at least you had far more stashes, which I'll show in a little bit. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of crafting. I think crafting in most games is beyond dog shit. I don't think it should exist. I think crafting is an abomination in most parts. Because it gets overly complicated. Crafting to me is very simple. I don't need high drop rates, but I need it to be simple. Because I should be able to look at crafting and say, ah, I understand that exactly. And we're not ready yet.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Stupid thing is killing me, man. But especially the in this game, right? So all of my gear is level 59, level 50, level 54, 52, 45, 60, 53, 54, 45, and 50. Why? Because, well, frankly, all of the gears that I got, for the most part, unless I was going to go higher risks in the dungeons and the nightmares, I just didn't get good gear. I would get level 60 gear in tier 3 that was either as good or worse in terms of numbers than the gear that I currently on, which would be like level 45 gear, which never understood why that's a thing, but it is what it is, right? So let me finish this mission up here.
I'm not ready yet.
And I'm gonna get on to my next point of this, but yeah, it's due to the fact that it drags. This game, for all of its glory, for all of its greatness and what it does well, it's as equally as annoying, tedious, and boring. There's no sense of accomplishment. Appreciate the problem is a problem. Like, here, I can shoot a boss grind a boss out to feel an accomplishment for fighting an Uber Lilith or for fighting this nightmare dungeon boss versus what you currently have, which is, well, hey, dude, Dimer dungeons. You may or may not get loot in everything you open up. No reason. I know. That's right. I have strong will. But the fact that I'm doing level 75, I did the level 70 dungeon at level 72. Almost died. But the fact that I was doing a level 50 gear in almost every single slot is nothing. You should be having to get up to level 60 gear in order to do level 70 content. So that's gearing and leveling. One of the issues that I have is, well, there is no item uniques in this game. What I mean by that is, like, the Uber uniques, there is nothing that's specific to your character. They're all universal, and that's boring. You should have Uber uniques that are tailored towards your character. So let's say there's a lightning Uber unique. Well, you can then turn that into, you have a fire unique, you have a blizzard unique, you have no frost nova, a shield unique, or whatever, ice storm. You could easily turn almost every single ability into a massive unique that people could tailor builds around. But it gives them the option to build multiple different layers versus, hey, you need to do frost right now because that's your primary damage source because it gives you vulnerability. Fire kind of sucks late game because you don't have the CC to survive if you're going on higher tiers. Because the enemies are like, hi, we're going to say hello. That's a big issue. So I actually looked up the, so this is the Uber uniques, right? Any. And the weapons? Can't use them. This might be a 1-hilt sword, but ooh, congratulations, 2-hilt staff. Shadow damage? I don't do shadow damage. So this sword, Doombringer, is worthless for me. It doesn't provide any value to my character. It's pointless. This one is pretty good, except, it does Poison Nova. I don't need poison damage. It's not my build type. Damage reduction. It's not bad. It's hard to get that one. The maximum resources. Okay, it's not too bad. The rings starless. That's actually the only good item on this entire Uber Uniques for sorcerers that I could use. And be like, yes, I need this item. I must have this item. All the rest of these are terrible. There's no incentive to actually do them, especially as a sorcerer. There's just zero incentive at all. So, okay. So I covered gear leveling. I haven't touched Paragon points yet. The ability, okay. So, one of the issues with this game is statistics are not working properly. So as everyone knows, obviously at this point, you have, oh yeah, finally got an ancestral rare. But the problem is look at this. It's barely different than in a sacred. Barely. If it wasn't for the fact that it was white, I wouldn't have known. They need to have it where these instinctively look different from the way they drop, the sound effects of how they drop, to make it look better. I'm not just trying to complain here. I'm actually trying to give criticism as well as a different kind of way to do things. That's the goal of this. This is not just to hate on the game. Because don't get me wrong, they both are shit, and they both have real issues. But I also love both games to death. Especially Path of Exile. I'm a big fan of Path of Exile. It has a lot of problems, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But for now, I'm focused on Diablo 4. So number one is the mechanics of stuff. So the intelligence not working the way it's supposed to with regards to defenses. I don't care for it. It's too complicated. It shouldn't be this complicated. It needs to be more simplified. There's too many variables of different things to do. Look at this. Look at this. For your offensive, you got weapon damage, weapon speed, chance, critical damage, overpower chance, which is fixed at 3%, so don't know why it exists in the game. I know you can get certain items for it, but I disagree with it. You have vulnerable damage, slowed, chilled, injured, fire, lightning, cold, poison, shadow, basic. Damage with a conjunction, damage from elite kill, thorns. It's too convoluted. The game needs to be simplified. I think not overly simplified, but it needs to be much more concise to what contributes to your attack power. Because I don't always know exactly what is contributing to my attack power. Now it says damage per second is plus 8. Okay, what does that equal in damage power? Does this mean I'm going to have a higher attack power? I'm going to have a lower attack power? Okay, this is negative 150, but it has different aspects of it. And that's where my problem comes in with the game. It complicates things in ways that shouldn't be. Instead of starting simple and then adding on with seasons, getting more complicated engagements in the stuff, which will allow us to actually progress further and not getting mired in bullshit, as they say. Okay. There's not a lot for this game, mainly due to the fact that there isn't a lot in the game. And I'm not going to beat dead horses over the head over and over again. But one of the things that I think would be an absolute awesome thing to change is Paragon points. I personally think that you should have the ability to fill this out 100%. 100%. So you can keep increasing the tier levels of Nightmare Dungeons until people max out on this. And then with every season, you can add an extra Paragon board, which means it takes longer for people to get to max level. But it gives people the sense of, hey, I've hit 100. I've beaten Uber Lilith. I want to keep going in the dungeons. I want to do 100% completion. Okay. You now have the ability to go through the entire board, fill out everything, feel like you're super powerful, and you can still tailor the Nightmare Dungeons to get harder and harder and harder. So that all of these don't just instantly delete it, but you at least feel a massive set of accomplishment. Because as it stands right now, like, you only have so many. I think it's 240. And I know for a fact that when I hit level 100, I'm done with this game. 100%. because I have no incentive to continue playing after that. The only reason I haven't quit already is because I kept dying, because I got impatient. I wanted to just dive right in and be like, yeah, let's do this shit. And I would get cocky, I would jump in and just die. But the leveling the gear, especially through tier 3 to tier 4, is, I think, some of the worst in the game. It drags heavily, just drags itself out. And I wish they would improve that. To show you an example of what I mean by the gear issues, I'm going to load up Diablo 3. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, don't need those. Oh, I forgot about the stash. So while the game's loading, the stash issues for this game that are cracking me up. So this is their claim. Come on, computer. Okay, so right here, when asked about the lack of extra stash tabs or even adding an unlimited amount, Diablo 4 Associates game developer Directive Joseph confirmed that adding stash tabs creates a lot of memory overhead due to the fact that the game loads every player and their stash items whenever seen in game. Why the ever-loving fuck is that in your game? Seriously. Who thought, hey man, make a great way to do our stashes, have it load our stashes completely every single time you're going to trade with someone. And speaking of trading, the fact that you cannot trade legendaries, they shouldn't be bound to your account automatically. You should have the right to trade with people, especially if they're in your parties. Like, the fact that it's only yellows is dumb. It's dumber than a Panthapudu. But Jesus, man. Fix your game. It's not the most difficult thing to fix. Oh, I feel like I've rambled a lot for this. That's what I get for doing this on the fly. But yeah, the game is not bad. It really isn't. This could be a lot of fun. A lot of fun for a lot of people if they were to adjust certain little elements to this game. And unfortunately, it doesn't do that. And the fact that they're not going to fix the okay. So this is my hardcore seasonal. Path of Exile is the only game I've never done hardcore on, which I'm going to start doing because okay, this game is old, so it looks like dog shit. However, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 6. So if we do the math, it's 30, right? Times 8 is you have 240 slots that you can work with. 240. But it always felt like you had a lot of room. And the fact that the gems have a limit to how much they can stack in D4 is really... I don't understand it. And this is my Seismic Slam build, which everyone likes to fault on for some reason. Let me just showcase it a little bit, see if I don't die. Okay.
Fortune favors the bold.
Because don't get me wrong, I'm going
Prove
to play.
yourself worthy. Need more time. Rip these brutes to shreds.
Seismic Slam. Definitely worth investing. But yeah, so always felt like you had item specifics for whatever builds you were building. So for my example of this one, I do the Cutter. I do Fury. I then have this particular set. I then do Ancient Lingerie, the Braces of Destruction. I do the Band of Might. You know, Compass Rose. But I have different armor sets that I can work with. Now, are the armor sets a little too overpowered in this game? Absolutely.
Cathos, guide my hand. Not ready yet.
But anyway, so
I am returning to
that's
town.
Diablo 3, right? But even this game is better set up than Diablo 4. I have all this different loot that I've collected, that I want to collect, that I wanted to save and try different builds with. And unfortunately with D4, it's just lacking in every category. So, okay. That is my short, tiny little rant about Diablo 4. Do I hate it? No. I think the game has a lot of potential if they stop messing around and actually do their job and fix it. That game could be phenomenal. Now, the other half of garbage shit is Path of Exile. It's trash, to be honest. Trash. Both in a good way and a bad way. It's both. So, I'm going to do one of my higher end characters for standardly, just to showcase what I'm talking about. Gotta remember to roll the music. La 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 la. Music turn up. Music don't be on. This is still like an 8. But, it's fine. I'm not monetizing this anymore. At least not right now. Come on, load game already. Is it gonna load? Or am I gonna be stuck in limbo forever? Come on, Path of Exile. Don't fail me now with your spotty servers, man. Don't fail me now. Alright, I'm gonna reload it. I don't wanna wait. The multiple excitement is always fascinating. I think like I said. Okay. Alright. So now let's try again. Let's do this. Dun dun dun. Okay. So this is a character that I stripped everything off of, right? This is builds. Alright. So in this game, okay, cool. Alright, so when you're playing Path of Exile, there's a couple things that are kind of mandatory for you to get. Number one is a map holder, because it holds an X amount of maps. I think it's like 500. No, I think it's more than 5. I forget exactly how many it is, but it's way up there. Plus, I have all of my map designs right here. I then have all my legendaries that I don't use are stored here. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hey, hello. How are you? Ah, there it goes. It's taking its time to come in. Okay, so this is another stash that you have to get. Here's another stash that you have to get. There's another stash you need to get. There's another stash you need to get. There's another stash you need to get. And another one. And another one. And another one. And another one. This game, for all much fun it is, has major problems. Primarily being the stash departments, right? The fact that I have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stashes that I have to purchase. These do not come with the game. These have to be purchased to organize my mess, or this would be so confusing for me to handle. I then have to buy premium stashes in order to trade with the premium stashes. Alright, so you have the stashes, right? I totally lost train of thought there. I completely moved train of thought. Shit. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the stashes, because to me that's one of the greatest irritations in this game. So you have all these different stashes with different currencies for each one, which means you have to keep track of like 1,500 different currencies, different items to keep track of. You then have these currency items, which, why? You then have rogue marker, which if I go over here and I look into it, more stashes, more items to log away that I'll probably never get to. Oh man. Sorry, today's been a long day. Driving, working. Okay, so this game, starting with the stashes, it's annoying. It's not the end of the world, but it's annoying. I don't mind the cosmetics, it's fine. There's just so many. And at this point, there's not really much you can do. It's a 10-year-old game. There's a lot that's been added onto this game for years and years and years. But one major issue is this damn thing. It's this goddamn skin screen. That and this one. Both things. So, the very first time that I ever looked at these two, I near damn well quit the game. Because I looked at this and said, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? There's so many different variations, there's so many different things to do. I don't hate that, but I wish that there would be especially for this particular skill tree, for the Atlas, I think there should be some sort of multiple different suggestion routes that you can go for new players. Not for veterans, but for news, right? So if you're brand new to the game, you've never played this game, the first thing you see this tree, you won't know what to do with it. It's like, oh, what does this do? Okay, I have to read these all manually by hand. I have to read every single one. Who the fuck is gonna want to do that? Outside of sweaty neck nerds. Like, outside of them, like, I don't really know of anyone else that would want to truly sit down and do this. I would put, how many hours do I have in this game? I have 1,500 hours, almost 1,600 hours in this game, right? And I still don't know I don't even know a quarter of this Atlas tree. Because every time I look at it, I'm like, I don't want to sit down and learn it. It's too complicated. It has too much shit on it. It's cool that it has a lot of stuff. I mean, that's kind of cool. But meh. And there's no way to do like a tutorial version in game. If I want to look up any of the stuff, I have to look online on YouTube and watch a 2 hour long to an hour and a half long video about what to do with the Atlas tree, and this is our personal recommendation on how you go about this route. You know, this may not be the best route for you, but this was our recommendation after playing for 2,000 hours to 75,000 hours. Which sucks, man. It sucks. So that's the skill tree, right? So shit. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's say this is the Atlas tree. So this is the passive tree. Right? So it's all this. What I personally think they should do, right, is in the very beginning of the game, right? Let's see. So the passive skill tree should be split like this. Okay. This should be level 1 through 25. This area nope. Okay. This area to this area should be level 25 to 50. Okay? So, when you start the game, and this should be a toggle. This should absolutely not be mandatory for anyone to do. But I think this should absolutely be a toggle. What I would do is do 25%. Okay? To start the game. Do 25%. Right? So 25% of the passive tree should be available to you, depending on the character that you're starting with, whether it's barbarian or marauder, witch, paladin, Templar, and ranger. And when you get then to level 50, once you hit past level 25, it shows up half of the map. So now you can spread out even further. And when you get to level 50, it then goes to 75%, which then goes back to being like this. So this last section right here would be 75 to 100. This would be a way to allow the new players that come in to not feel overwhelmed by this giant passive tree. So, for a better look at the passive tree, this is your passive tree. Look at this. It's fucking huge. My first run through, I tried to do this tree, and I got so confused on what was what, where to go, how to build, that I had to start doing builds. And frankly, I'm tired of doing builds. I want to sit down and just do the game, which is why for the next season I'm doing my first hardcore on a season with no build guides. I'm going to try everything on my own, build my own way, and get this up and running. Okay. So that's what I would do for the passive tree, right? And this is controversial. People are not going to like this, especially the sweaty neck beards, those that are die hard. Get good, scrub. You suck at the game. Yeah, well, if you want more people to play this game and you like to expand your community, Triple G, this would be what you do. This, by making this being 25%, 50%, 75%, and then full, it no longer will overwhelm your players that are coming in to the game. We'll get to the beginning of the game in a minute. We'll get there. But at least for this passive tree, that's what I would do. Because it makes it simple, it makes it pretty good. Okay, so with that being said and done, let's go. Yeah, so apparently I can't. Okay. So this first zone here is probably one of the worst opening experiences of the game that I can think of in a very long time. It's boring. It's tedious. There's a slight tinge of excitement, but frankly, it's dull. Your character moves slow. You miss a lot of your shots. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You're completely at a loss. And if this game was not so massive, I don't think that would be a problem. But with how massive this game is, it is an absolute problem. For example, all these gems. Without spending hundreds and hundreds of hours, if not probably close to thousands of hours of studying these gems and knowing how they calligraphy together and how they work together, most people, and I'm included in this, are not going to understand most of the gems and how they work. The modifications to the way that they function. Like my brother's trying out Path of Exile for the very first time. Never played it before, doesn't know anything, hasn't looked up any guides, know nothing. He's going through missing auras, and I'm having to say, hey, bro, you need to have this aura. Why? Because it helps you with the damage, but why? It doesn't really make sense to me. All I see is gibberish when he looks at the auras. And I thought about that for a minute. Like, you know, that makes absolute fucking sense. And it's dumb. What they really should do, Triple J, if you ever do see this video, for whatever reason, and you happen to take the advice of a no-name person that's giving advice, I would simply say, do builds. You already have the builds set on websites, the third-party websites. So why not put them in game? So for i.e. my character, right? So I have 3 ascendancies. Actually, I'll put the other one so it'll be easier to show. Okay. So I've got this ascendancy, right? This one right here. I've got this ascendancy, and I got this ascendancy. So I can either go bow, or I can go assassin, or I can go poison concoction. What I should do, and should have seen when I'm first going through this game, is give me a list of 3 to 6, if not 12 different classes that I can choose from. And what it would do is not give you gear. This is not going to make your leveling process any easier. This will not modify hardly anything in the game at all. This is simply taking what is already there and allowing it to be in person in game. The fact that I have to go to a third-party website to look at builds at all is a monumental failure of your guys' game. Now, if this game was brand new, I would excuse it. But you guys are 10 years in. This is inexcusable behavior. This should have long been addressed and fixed by you guys. Now, I understand you guys have been making it on Path of Exile too, but yeah, so there's only so much I can say, yeah, man, that makes total sense. Alright, okay. So, when you're leveling, what would have helped me in my first run through that would have made this game way more intriguing to actually sit down and learn more stuff and saying, hey, let's show you a guide where we recommend auras, we recommend armors, we recommend different totems, we recommend different little things you can add on the ballistic arrows, you can do different combinations of things. Let's throw this at you with explanations as to why these things do. Which then allow us, right, would allow us to learn about the gems in an easy-go manner. And for the people that don't want to do giant, massive builds and learn and go watch a 45-minute YouTube video, look at this. You want to learn builds? They're 11 minutes, 38 minutes. But the fact that I have to go to a third-party website, this is another third-party website. Let's see here. Look at this. They're third party. Gotta use them to do builds. Right? Why? You guys should do it. It's easy. You guys have the ability to do it. Do it. Make it so that when someone that's brand new to the game, I want to introduce someone to this game, I can say, hey man, don't worry about it. Just jump in. The game will get you started. Level 1, you get to level 2. It says, hi, welcome to level 2, and welcome to your journey of Path of Exile. Now to get you started, here is 12 different classes that you can pick from. Or, if you'd like, you can ignore this. And you can go on your own and do your own adventures. And I think that should be a toggle. For veterans, it should not exist. They should be able to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to ever see this. This is stupid. I know what the hell I'm doing. Fantastic. For all the new players, I think that would be an absolute good step. Because it would allow people to understand what they're doing on the most basic level in terms of the passive tree. Because for me, it took me forever to understand even basically half of this passive tree. And even then, there's still a lot that I don't know. I know mainly the Marauder side and the Ranger side. I don't really mess with the Wizard or the Witch and the Duelist. Because it's complicated and frankly, don't want to do massive trial and error over and over and over again. Because I'm burned out. There's so many little things, and granted this game is 10 years old, but there's so many little things that with tutorials that can give people, they don't have to be in-your-face tutorials. They can just be, hey, here's a little slight nudge. Hey, this is how you do this. Hey, this is how you do that. They don't have to give every in-depth thing of every little thing, but they absolutely should be in this game. It's unacceptable that it's not in this game. Okay. So, one of the other issues that I've seen in this game, and that is crafting. Nowhere in this game does it tell you how to craft. Oh, is it in the menu? Okay. Where? Where? Let's see if I can find it. Nope, not Pantheon panel. I forgot about that panel. So that's 1, 2, 3 trees you have to go do. Nope. Where the hell is it? I know it's on here. Nope. The fact that I don't even know it off the top of my head, I've been playing this game for so long. Oh, dirt. Wow, these are super intuitive. Not really. Most people are not even gonna know about this. Like, seriously. And most people are not gonna spend the time to ever read these. Ever. Like, literally, ever. I've actually never read these. I don't like this game. That's fucking sad. That's sad. You know? Okay. Look at this. No full tips. See, but why? Why is that any force? Because you easily pull off what Diablo 3 does, right? And but there's so many different crafting materials in this game. There's too many. There's really too many. This is another wasted one. The recipes. Basic one. They should do. I even forgot about this one right here. Fuck me. See, there's so many different things in this game that what they really should do is put a forging iron, right? Like either right here, where I'm standing, or over here, or somewhere, and allow it that you can go and say, hey, I want to craft sashes. I want to craft armor pieces. I want to craft bows. I want to craft XYZ. Different types. You should absolutely be allowed to do that. It really should. Right? Itemization in this game sucks. I'll be honest. I sound like I hate this game. I don't. I love it. But this is ridiculous. 4? This should be 2. These all should be no more than 2 at any given time. This is old school to an old school degree, but frankly, it's out of date. And this game's 10 years with constant updates and constant changes and adds and removals. Let's see, what else am I looking at here? Gems. Yeah, I really hold fast that gems should be an option, a toggle option, so that it gives you a list of 12 different type of builds you can do, and you can take them from the P.O.E. websites. I don't give a shit, but you should definitely do it. Make for a better experience overall. Okay, what else was I trying to do here? So, the trading in this game is atrocious. Like, why am I having to go to a third-party website? Even if it's your guys' third-party website, Triple G, why the fuck is this in your game? Seriously, why is this in your fucking game, dude? You guys are giving me a fucking migraine with this. Seriously. This trade should be a board in your game. You can easily turn to this board right here, the notice board, where it has public parties, create a party, guilds, friends. Put trade. And say, hey guys, you can list up to 2,000 items at any given time as a trade. And you can set your price in here, and you can upload the item to here. So what happens is when people go to notice boards and they want to purchase that item, I don't have to wait for Billy Bob Jane over there in La La Land doing fuck knows what to say, hey man, I'd like to purchase this item from you. And I gotta go, oh hey, I'm in the middle of a map and I kind of don't have that ability to get out of this map at this moment because I need to finish it. So look at this. If I want to trade with him, I have to leave this current server to go to that server to then find that item in my stash to then trade with him if he shows up. That is fucking stupid. Seriously, Triple G. I'm not going to call you GGG. It's Triple G, as far as I'm concerned. It's just easier to say. But that shouldn't exist. This is a 10-year game. If this was, like I said, this was year one, I would excuse 99.9% of this shit. But all this stuff needs to be in game. All of it. All the different currencies. Your entire, like, currency problem in this game is not that difficult to fix. So, one of the things that I would suggest to do, and not everyone's going to like this, most people are actually going to fucking hate this. Whoever does see this, they're going to hate this a lot. Is all of this shit, all of it, you should be able to create your amulet step by step, have it still be just as difficult to get the right item slots, and depending on the level requirements of the gear, which will determine if you're able to get high tier rolls or low tier rolls outside of legendaries. So in other words, if I want to build the perfect armor set piece, right, for my build in particular to maximize my damage, I think that you should be able to take it and build suffixes and affix, whatever they're called, step by step. The sheer amount of fucking random in this game means that I don't do that. I don't. I just don't bother. I use all my stuff for trading. I just don't even bother with crafting. I don't bother with all these. Maybe these three are the main ones that I use. I don't use divines and I don't use exalted orbs. I don't use half of this shit to do what they're intended for because it's just meh. It's too complicated. Don't want to bother with it. It's not entertaining. It's boring. All this stuff needs to be congealed. Let's see, what else was it? This. Another convoluted, ridiculously convoluted crafting system. This could easily be put into one spot. This should be attached to this. The random. These two should be attached to each other. That should be inside here as a third option. So that you can just right click and move it over. Right click and move it over. Shouldn't be its own little station. Why? It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. Like, I'm bitching, yes. I'm absolutely bitching. But as much as I complain about this game, I absolutely love Path of Exile. It's a fun game if you can overlook all these issues, and the majority of your player base won't, and I can't blame them for it. Like, for example, this has its own crafting pool, right? This entire crafting thing. And I barely understand it at all. because it's another convoluted piece of mess that I don't really exactly understand how it works. And frankly, I don't have the time. I don't want it to be overly simplified too. I'm not asking for that. What I am asking is for a way for you guys to showcase the players and have it in-game how you do these things. The trading should be solely in-game. The build should be in-game. All the stuff should be in fucking in-game. What else? I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Peace to you.
Like,
May the
this is
darkness
not
spare
complicated,
you.
thankfully. This is, I have literally no idea how any of this works. I don't know what it does. Never bothered to look into it. Because to me, it's just another convoluted crafting material. And I just don't have a reason to really bother with it. Why would I? You got anointments. You got all this stuff.
Thought I heard something.
History repeats itself.
So,
Greeting.
Godslayer.
yeah, I'm bitching quite a bit.
Greet.
I'm not
Need
gonna
some
lie. You know,
Hail.
it's not the most exalted
Let's-
story, but here's your crafting bench. It's the only part of the area. But even then, for how it does the prefixes and affixes and whatnot, like even still, it's confusing, and it still throws people out heavily of what they're trying to do. I think my suggestion of doing one row at a time, building your own gear pieces, you can still have it be deathly expensive. Have it where the item that it rolls to is at random, as it is currently, right? So each layer that you're trying to build, if you find the right item slot that you want, let's say it's armor or it's evasion, and you're like, oh shit, I got a really good evasion ring. Okay, you can have it where say it's 10 chaos to lock this in, or you can re-roll for another 5 chaos. That way you're building your gears step by step. So if you want to run around with a 3-step gear that can eventually have a 5-piece or 6-piece on it, right? You can do that. I think that'd be awesome. It would definitely change the entire dynamic of the game. People would still have to farm because everything would still be limited to item level. So if you're stuck with level, let's say 72 gear, you're not going to get gear that's better from crafting outside of like 82s or 80s. So whatever the creep is up level wise, then it slowly increments the increases of what you can get on that armor. And I think that would be a good addition. I think it'd have some trial and error with it, don't get me wrong. But that would be the same thing that I would do with all of the gems sockets on armors. Hey, I want to have 6. All right, cool. It's going to cost you 100 chaos, or it's going to cost you 25 chaos. Hey, I want to have 4 on my gloves. All right, cool. That's going to be 40 chaos, or whichever you want to use it for. Hey, I want to do a 6-piece on this bow because I really like this bow, but you know it's corrupted. Sweet, sweet. We're gonna allow you to pay 200 chaos to put 6 on there because it's corrupted, so it's double the price, right? Hey, I want to make sure they're all white so I can modify my build the way I want to. That you guys always claim that you want to build the way they want to, right? Make it do what? 1 divine for 4, 2 divine for 6, or 2 divine for 6. Boom. You know, so when people want to do that, outside of those, you know, giga farmers and the hardcore players, for all the average players, they'd be like, hey, I got this 1 divine. I really love this gear piece. You know, this is going to be my piece towards level 100 when I start doing the mega bosses. Bet. Let's go do this. There you go. I honestly hope this has been fun for everybody. I mean, I'm enjoying it. You know, it's not the best in the world, but I'll take it. And, I mean, that's just my honest 2 cents about Diablo 4 and Path of Exile. I think there's a lot of potential for both of these games. I'm super excited about Path of Exile too. But my gut instinct is that they don't fix these issues. I mean, look at this. And these take forever to unload. I mean, forever. You gotta go CTL left, 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 left. You should be allowed to move them in bulk. But these really should be 2. Look at this. It should be 2. 2 2s. All of these should be 2, no more than 2s. I think that would make it far more fun for people to play versus the way that it currently sits. But like, this is another form of currency that I have no idea, and I'm not gonna bother to learn it because it looks boring as fuck, and I have just no desire. You know, this is definitely Neckbeard's game, but the same token, I know they're trying to reach out to more people than just their current audience. And I think that they definitely could absolutely blow this game out of the water if they were to make it more accessible to everyone. But that's just one man's view from the other side of the world of the internet. Hopefully you guys find this intuitive. I know it wasn't the most exciting, but you know what? Fuck it. This is my opinion. I don't give a shit. Y'all can suck my dick as far as I'm concerned with that. But hey, yeah, this is my fucking opinion. And oh yeah, one other thing before I forget is the fact too that I have to go and do item filters from third-party websites is ridiculous. This should be added into your game. I shouldn't be having to use any third-party programs ever for your game that is 10 years old that you make millions of dollars on. I love you guys, and I criticize you because I care, not because I don't. If I didn't give a shit about this game, I wouldn't say 2 cents about it. I want this game to be amazing, and I think it can be amazing if you guys are willing to add these changes. I'm not even including the map designs and the whole Atlas tree. That's a whole shebang of itself. But I can deal with that. It's not the worst. But getting up to that point in the game is tedious. I mean, look at all the crafting options. It's overwhelming. Look at all this. I don't even know what half the shit does. Look, legit, I have no idea. Never bothered to try it. Because it seems excessive. Beyond excessive. And I just, I'm good. I don't really want to bother. You know? So. Alright, everybody. This is, just my viewpoints on everything. And, yeah. I'll catch you all on the flip side. I have no idea what I want to do. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me today. Hopefully you guys found it intuitive and interesting to listen to. And, hey, let me know what you guys think of it. I'll be posting these split into 2 different videos on YouTube, and I'll be happy to hear if you guys disagree with me, you guys think I'm stupid, the worst ideas ever presented ever in the history of, well, Path of Exile. But hey,